rages on. Mark roars to try to scare Chris. But Chris scores a successful hit. Mark has been badly wounded on his back leg. He has a huge spot of blood, but Chris has also been badly wounded on his front leg, for Mark had ripped off a piece of meat. Mark gets up, he will not give up, and roars, trying to scare Chris. Chris screams in pain. Mark rips off a chunk of meat from Chris, and Chris is screaming now. There's blood riddled on the floor. Mark is going to attack, but Mark slips. The carnivore is down. Chris goes down to make sure that Mark is dead. But Mark is still alive. He attacks, but he slips once again. Kate has returned and has now rescued Chris. Her tail spikes are riddled with blood. The two herbivores escape. Mark may not survive the night. The predator has fallen down badly and is nearly dead. Another day passes on the island, and as always, the island is hot. The Stegosaurus herd is out and about, except for Chris. Chris is asleep. He's been sleeping in because he's very tired from the ordeal with Mark. Kate comes and wakes Chris up. Chris is annoyed, but Kate goes to get breakfast. The wound on his leg is still badly injured, but he goes to have breakfast with the rest of the Stegosaurus and start munching on the plants. Later, we come to the true desert of the island. This is a harsh, horrible, and very arid climate. These small Protoceratops are one of the very few animals that can survive here. They don't need much water, so this herd is going to go into the real desert. Not too far away was another area of the island. This is the ridge of the desert. Here we see a small valley filled with many new species that you've never seen before. A small herd of Protoceratops are here. They're the rest of the herd, and the other three that you saw before are scouting out to look for a new habitat. One of the Protoceratops goes and gets a drink. He's very thirsty, and this is probably cleaner than the water we have over there in the main setting. He takes another long drink. Not too far away, we find something that you may remember. Mark has come to this side of the island. This is at least a week's journey. He's seen here sitting in the shade, but eventually he leaves by the smell of water. In this strange area of the island, many new awesome species of the animal live here. Coelophysis is an early ankylosaur, but lacks the club at the end of the tail. Mamenchisaurus is the dominant sauropod of these plains. They have the longest neck of any known animal and can reach up to 35 feet long. Protoceratops are a very common sight here. They're small and don't need that much water, so yeah. Gastonia is another small ankylosaur, much smaller than Coelophysis, but is a herbivore too. On the top you see a Hypsilophodont, and on the bottom you see an Othnielia. These are two of the many species that live here, but there are also some old animals that you've seen before, like this Oviraptor. Oviraptor are very good. Also here you can see a Coelophysis, which inhabit every single area of the island, from swamps to the forest. The Protoceratops are now in defensive formation. Something is wrong. Mark is very hungry. He's going to attack, but he's not after the Protoceratops right now. He's actually after the slow-moving baby Mamenchisaurus. Marcus killed the Namanekiosaurus. This was an easy meal, but an Oviraptor has come. Mark is too weak to fight, and this Oviraptor knows he has an opportunity to get a kill. Mark is forced to leave. Mark leaves, sadly. He'll be forced to go back to his side of the island. Not too far away, back in the main setting of the island, we're exploring something. A baby Apatosaurus skeleton lies where it fell about a few years ago. A baby T-Rex has now come to the scene to explore a skeleton. He's intrigued by it, but Mark comes and kills the baby. Mark rips apart its body and devours a chunk of meat. He is back. Night has fallen upon the island now. You see here, two Dimetrodons are eating upon a Stegosaurus carcass. It is impossible for such things to even take down a baby Stegosaurus, so they are probably scavenging off of an already dead carcass. Mark comes and scares them away. He's happy to finally have his own carcass so he can eat it, and in a little bit he'll start to feast. Nearby, the Stegosaurus herd is out and about. Chris and Kate are talking to each other. Not too far away now, a crocodile is basking on the shore, but he feels something weird. He's frightened all of a sudden, and just then, a huge tremor. Tremors start appearing up everywhere. The crocodile goes into the water. All of the herbivores are afraid, and an Oviraptor is looking at a patch of dirt. Just then, the dirt starts to open up. It buries a Uniceratops alive easily. The animal is drowning, and there's a 20-foot deep trench in the middle of there. Pterosaurs fly out, and all of the animals are screaming and running for their lives. Chris lays motionless on the floor. He's awake, and all of a sudden Kate comes to accompany him. Kate will be here in a second, and now she comes. The two have barely survived this horrible onslaught. Not too far away, Mark is still awake, but he's badly injured. He's too tired to get up, so he'll just stay here laying down. If you thought this was bad, the island is now in turmoil.